So I know that you released your album in the US a couple of
last
weeks.
week.
Last week,
Yeah.
yes. How has the reactions been?
Incredibly well.
Yeah.
I've done a bunch of radio interviews in the last couple of days,
Yeah.
which are at crazy times because the time difference. You know, last night I did one from 12 at night until 1:30, and the day before I did one at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you know, you gotta do it because normally when I did them in the past, I'm usually there, you know, but right now, the record came out now and we're not in the States.
Yeah.
So you gotta do it like this. It's alright, but people are really enthusiastic and
Yeah.
it's just really great, you know. It's you know that this kind of music, since you told me you like this kind of music, fans are usually very loyal because it's not hit music, you know. With Whitesnake we were fortunate, and with my band Vandenberg we were lucky too with one or two hit singles. In those days there was a lot more rock on the radio, you know. So there's an advantage and a disadvantage on it. The advantage is that you can just make a record. You don't have record company guys breathing in your neck, going, we need a hit single, you know, because you're not going to get on radio anyway. So, or at least not on top 50 radio or something. At least in Holland. I don't know about other countries, but it's going really well, and I'm really surprised. And like I was over here too, because I didn't expect anything, you know. All I wanted to do is make the best record I can make with this band, and make a record that I would like to buy, because I can't really find a lot of records like this, and this is my favorite kind of music, you know.
You know, I was so happy when I heard your album the first time that I actually cried.
You did?
Yes,
oh,
I
wow.
was. I was like, oh, this is for real.
Oh, good.
This is the real thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I really, really, really love your band.
Thank you.
I've said it so many times, but I really mean it.
Keep saying it. Makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's good.
The reception in America was great.
Yeah.
And you know, it's getting started, and we're gonna have to see how far it goes. But the promotion people came back with really enthusiastic stories. You know, they have lists and stuff like they do in America. You know, and we were number 5 most added new song in like the list of most added new songs all over America on workstations.
That's
so
great.
I was really happy with that, and they were too. They said, wow, you know, we didn't expect it, and everybody starts.
That's great.
So I hope we
know that your lyrics really touches my heart.
Oh, thank you.
Every single one.
Oh, thank you very much.
On the album.
Wow. That's really amazing, because it's the first time that I've wrote lyrics again since Vandenberg, and they were pretty juvenile, you know. Those were, you know, like puberty lyrics basically.
Yeah, Friday night.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, you know. That was the age I had at the time, and I didn't really pay too much attention to. For me, the writing of the lyrics was something, oh, I'll do that later, you know.
Yeah.
And right now it's it comes really easy, you know. I just sit down, and usually when I write a song, sentences and words come into through my antenna.
Yeah.
Which is really strange, and I told people about it because I thought that happens with everybody, but apparently it doesn't. Because most people who write lyrics have to sit down for it, and you have to think what I'm going to do, you know.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when I always start with the music, well, 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Little bits and pieces of lyrics come in, and I always write them down, or I burp them into my iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can pick them up later, and yeah, that's really nice to hear, because there's a couple of very personal ones in there.
Yeah.
Especially the Out of Reach one for my daughter.
Oh,
you know?
it's so beautiful, yes.
And it turned out really nice, because I was really curious how, if Jan was going to be able to translate that kind of emotion, because Jan is a power singer on one hand, but on the record, when we were in the studio and when he could hear himself better than usual, you know, because we always rehearsed in the rehearsal room where it's loud. But with those songs, I prepared them at home in my home studio. So when Jan, when I explained to Jan how the melody went and the lyrics and stuff, and we made pretty good demos, you know. But in the studio, they've got a saying in Holland, it goes, when you rise above yourself. He did, you know. He started singing Out of Reach. I thought, wow, man, he's really grown in the last 1.5 years since I started working with him and
Yeah.
pushing him, you know, because the first time I heard him, I knew he was going to be way better than he probably thought himself, you know,
Yeah.
but nobody ever kind of pushed him, you know,
Yeah.
because he was probably always the best guy in the band or something, because
Yeah.
he played on bar bands and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I've heard a song or watched, I googled him or something like that, and I found, what cover was it?
Paul McCartney, Maybe I'm
Yeah.
Amazed.
No, You're the Voice.
Yeah.
John Farnham.
Yeah, and
I
he did
was
great.
like, yeah, he did great, but he's been developing so
Oh,
much
yeah.
since then.
Yeah, he really did, and
Yeah.
it was the same thing because he was singing too easily then because he probably knew he had the range. He didn't care, you know.
Yeah.
So he didn't dig into what it's supposed to be about,
Yeah.
you know. He stayed on the surface a little bit, and
Yeah.
so I've been. That's actually why I spent quite a lot of time on the preparation of this album, trying to get everything out of Jan.
Yeah.
And he surprised himself even because he said, yeah, nobody ever tried to get all that stuff out of me, and now it goes so much easier because with the shows too, you know, like every week everything gets better and tighter, of course, you know,
Yeah.
because you can rehearse all you want, but you
Yeah.
can't rehearse against the show. A show
It's not
is
the
worth,
same.
No, you know, from your boyfriend,
Yeah.
your husband, that you could, you know, one show is worth more than 10 rehearsals, you know, or 20.
Yeah, sure is. Do you write most songs from your own experiences?
Yeah, pretty much. If they're not direct, like Out of Reach is definitely direct. It is directly about my daughter who
Yeah.
lives with her mom, and the other ones, Leeches is direct. That's about
I've been thinking about Leeches actually.
yeah. That's about
Yeah.
2 guys that I've worked with in the past, and
Oh,
yes.
oh yes,
That
oh
thing.
yes.
So
Yeah, I know.
I hope the rest of the world susses it out too. But anyway, other ones are also, you know, but sometimes it's just mix up experiences,
Yeah.
you know, like certain emotions that you can have there and you can use it there or whatever. But it's always like something that you've felt or that you've experienced, or
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just like a rock and roll lyric, you know, like good thing. That's
Good
just
thing,
like
yes.
happy-go-lucky rock and roll, you know.
Yeah.
You see a nice girl, you go, oh, nice, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
and other ones are more, a little bit more deeper, like Breathing and like Out of Reach, and definitely one of maybe my favorite lyric that I ever managed to put together is definitely also Out of Reach, but also One Step Behind.
Yeah.
It's that's very personal also actually,
Hmm.
but I always try to sugarcoat it a little bit because I don't want it to be like really personally, but
Yeah.
I try to translate memories and emotions into something that everybody can understand and relate to, you know.
What's your future plans and hopes for MoonKings? Do you write?
I really hope to keep this together as long as I possibly can, you know,
Yeah.
because like I said before, this is my favorite band. It's great guys, incredible musicians, and it's getting better all the time, and I'm really gonna aim to put out another record before next summer,
Okay.
because I'm always pissed off when bands make a nice record and it takes 3 years or 4
Yeah.
or sometimes longer. With Whitesnake, you know, in the whole 30 years that I was in the band, we only put out 3 albums, and
Yeah.
that's it, you know, and that's not enough. So, and I really love doing live shows,
Yeah.
and in order to do live shows you have to make your records, and also I'm bubbling with ideas. I've got like at least little bits and pieces. I must have at least 200 bits and pieces already over the
Yeah.
last 6 months or something, you know, because when I pick up a guitar I get ideas, and or sometimes I'm on a bicycle and I go, oh wait a minute, oh,
Yeah.
my telephone, you know, and then
Thank God for modern technique.
oh yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest. I used to have one of those dictaphones, you know, the small
Yeah.
things that record them as well.
Yeah.
The earliest one I had was with little tape, of course, and they were big, you know.
Yeah, they were.
But you have your phone with you all the time, so that's
Yeah.
really easy.
You have everything in here.
Yeah, your whole life, and it's scary actually.
Yes, it is. If you lose it, you.
Yeah, you lose your fucked. So,
Oh, I don't want to think
iCloud,
about that.
iCloud.
Yeah.
I have to check it in because I can't even remember my password.
Oh, that's not
I could
good.
do it because then you're screwed if you lose all the stuff.
Yeah,
But I've got it with me.
that's good. Hold
Yeah.
on to it.
Yeah, I know.